Wholesaling houses in New York show. I cannot believe how red my face looks. I don't understand why that is. I got a new computer, so it's got a different camera. I think I used to look sort of human, and now I either look like Mr. Freeze from Batman, like this. Is that better? Maybe I do look better. Who knows? I don't know why I worry about this stuff. Okay, so I had a question, which is, can you describe what happens at a foreclosure auction? So, just to give a little background, I started doing this business full time in the beginning of 2013, so it's about 10 years. And for the first 4 years, I only bought at live auction. Nassau County, I went every Tuesday. It used to be weekly. Now they've changed. We'll talk about that later. And I bought from a few other ways, but basically I went to the auction. So I want to describe what happens at the auction. So this is a foreclosure auction. So first of all, before you go, there are two paid services where you can get a list of what is scheduled to be at the foreclosure. So in Long Island, one is liprofiles.com, and the other one I think a lot of people know is propertyshark.com. And you'll have to pay. It's not a lot, a few $100s a year, I think, and you'll get a list. Now, understand the list is what is scheduled to close. And we'll talk later about why I don't go to auctions anymore, but just to explain what happens. A lot of those properties that are scheduled to close are not going to actually end up, I'm not to close, that are going to be auctioned. I'm sorry, I'm talking out of my tuchus today. A lot of those properties that are scheduled to be auctioned are not going to end up on the calendar the day of because of a million reasons, right? The lender might not have all the paperwork. The lawyer representing the lender may not be able to show up. The borrower, which is really the defendant, the lender is the plaintiff, may have paid off the loan or got caught up on the loan or declared bankruptcy, right? I bought a property at auction once, and the person had declared bankruptcy 3 minutes before the auction. That sounds like fun. It took me 3 months to get my deposit back. So what happens is they announce which properties actually come up. And as you get there, there's a list. And then that list is significantly different than the list that you got, which was what was scheduled a few days before, because all these auctions get adjourned or canceled. And then you go, good Shabbos, and you go and they announce it. So there's a plaintiff's attorney, right, an attorney representing the plaintiff, and they're going to come and they're going to say the referee. So it's a little complicated. So let me explain. There's a referee that's appointed by the courts, who is usually an attorney, to be the referee, and he is not representing any party here. He's supposed to be impartial, and he's going to get up and he's going to announce an upset number. So 123 Main Street, the upset number, which is the minimum that the lender is willing to take, is $400,000. Now, sometimes that upset price, is going to be much higher than any investor will pay. And sometimes it's going to be much lower than any investor will pay. And really the action starts when that number is lower than investors will pay. And then investors start bidding. Now, when you bid, right, you're going to basically say your name and you're going to give a number. And it's not like one of these auctions in Texas. Give me 25 minutes. It's like, hey, $425,000, Michael. That's what you'll say. And if you win, then you walk up and you have to provide the referee with 10% of the funds from the closing. So they want, typically, and here I'll tell you a little workaround here. Typically, they want a bank check made out to the referee. Now, here's the problem: if you're going to bid on multiple properties and you don't know what the upset price is, you don't know which referee to make it out to, because almost every property's got different referees. So one workaround is you make the checks out to yourself and then you endorse them over. Now, of course, some jerk off referees won't take those checks. Some people come there with cash. There are guys there with a lot of cash, and sometimes referees won't take cash. Some do. So there is no perfect method. I always went with bank checks made out to myself, and if I bought them in multiple denominations, so a 20,000, a 25,000, a 10,000, a 5,000, because you want to get close to 10%. You don't want to give more than you have to. Sometimes you do a little bit. You give more because you can't get the exact denomination, and I would endorse them over. And there is a camaraderie of people there, and people help with each other. So when I got there, right, in 2013, there was maybe 50 guys who were active bidders. And half these guys were bitching and moaning at how easy it used to be. We would come here, and there were four of us, and I would say, you take this one, and you take that one. By the time I left, so 2017, when I realized this was crazy, there were 500 people. They had moved into a bigger courthouse. Nothing takes place on the steps of the courthouse in Nassau County. It takes place in a courthouse. and there was 500 people bidding. And the truth is, to me, it's a horrible way to try and buy properties, because you're spending a lot of time doing research on properties that aren't even going to show up to be auctioned. A. B. You're spending time on properties that when they show up to be auctioned, the upset price is significantly higher than you can ever pay. More waste of time. C. Even if the property shows up and the upset price is below what you want to pay, you can always get outbid by someone who's willing to pay much more. So for me, it's impossible to control whether you're going to buy anything or not. So for me, we stopped going in 2017. I really probably should have stopped going in 2015. In my opinion, right, the way to work this business is to market direct to sellers, right? Buy lists of people that are likely to sell and market to them with a simple, basic question of, hey, do you want to sell, right? Here's someone I just sent it to. My name is Michael Pinter. I want to buy your house at blah, 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 blah avenue. I can pay you cash no matter what the condition of the home is. Call me now to receive a fair cash offer. Blah, 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 blah. Simple postcards, right? Postcards are expensive, though. You have a list of 10,000. You want to send postcards. $4,400 to send $4,800 to send 10,000 postcards. And if you're going to mail anything, you got to mail it multiple times. So don't just mail once. So that's what I believe. And I changed that whole method in 2017. I'm a much happier person because of it. Because going to the auction, right, and really for me, it was the whole Monday was doing research. The auctions were only on Tuesday. I spent the whole Tuesday at the auctions. I wouldn't get at it until 3 o'clock. Really, it was almost 40% of my week was spent on something, and very often I ended up with nothing. So I don't feel that way now with my marketing. I feel like it produces results. I can adjust it. I have to have a very long time frame in New York, but I'm happy with this situation now. Much happier with my business than I was before, where it really was up for grabs if I bought something or not. So that's just now. What happened during the pandemic is there were no auctions for a long time. And I'll tell you something else. I was one of the only people, if not the only person, who took copious notes during every single auction. So I knew everything that people were buying. I knew how much they were paying for it. I got to get water. So when I started marketing direct to sellers, I figured I can wholesale to this amazing list I have, all these people. Ironically, almost none of the people that bought at auction wanted to buy from me. I think they had seen me buy enough that they figured if I was selling it, something was wrong with it. It's fine. I know I was one of the active buyers there. But then during the pandemic, when there were no auctions, a lot of those guys came back to me and said, hey, do you have something? Do you have something? I don't think I sold, maybe I sold one to one of those guys, but after the pandemic, I think they do sales every single day now. They do auctions every single day, which is interesting because I heard it's really bad. Like 2 or 3 properties will show up. So it's interesting, right? Maybe I should send somebody there and see if anything shows up. Maybe I should reapply to LI Profiles or Property Shark. But my situation is that what goes on there is interesting. You're going to get an idea. I think anybody getting into business should go to a couple of auctions. It's just hard if there's only 3 or 4 properties coming up to really get a feel for what's going on. But you can see what investors are going to pay, right? And then you can look up at that house and see what that guy does with it, right? Just understand a lot of the guys inside there have the inside track on a lot of these properties, in that a lot of them have retail buyers ready to go, and they're willing to pay more than you would in a million years. So that's what I saw happen towards the end, and that was a problem. And nothing illegal about it. It's just that these guys are paying numbers. Everybody's looking at each other, going, "How the hell is this guy making any money?" And I'll be honest with you, there were plenty of properties that I said that, and then I looked later and the guy did make money. I think it's hard to tell what a guy spends on construction, but there were times where I was 100% wrong on those properties, and they really were worth a lot more than I thought. So that's the basic gist of it. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or learntoflipandwholesale.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. A lot more people have been liking my videos, watching my videos, subscribing to my videos. So thank you very much for anybody who's liked my videos. And please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. Just to tell you how dedicated I am, this is the 3rd video I'm doing today because I missed Monday and I missed Thursday. So I'm doing 3 videos today and do 5 times a week. I do this to answer your questions. So please keep the comments coming with questions. You can ask any question. It does not have to be about the video you're watching. I don't care. And if it's something simple, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video that I've done on it. And if it's something new or something I haven't covered in a while, I'll do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.